want to spend my life mending broken people. I want to spend my life removing pain. Lord, let my words heal a heart that hurts. I want to spend my life mending broken people. I want to spend my life mending broken people.
Hello friends, and welcome to another 3ABN Today cooking program. I'm Jill Morricone, and we're already having fun in the kitchen, which we always do when Chef Mark Anthony comes to town. Mark, it's just a joy to have you back here at 3ABN. Whenever Mark comes, I always say, welcome home.
Welcome home.
Because it feels like that when he comes back. You've been coming, how many years have you been coming here?
7.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 years.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
God has gifted Mark. God has graced him with the ability to present food in an attractive way, with the wow factor, you know, to have a good time.
In a fun way.
In a fun way, absolutely. So share with our friends at home, maybe they're just flipping the channel and the first time they're saying, who's Mark Anthony? Tell me just a little bit about your ministry and what you do.
Well, I travel the country quite a bit doing cooking shows. In fact, just did our 1,000th cooking show. Yeah, so I'm usually booked solid year-round. And they're free. They're always free. I never charge anybody for food cost or traveling expenses or anything. And God's provided every single step of the way. So, and yeah, and it's just been keeping me busy, just teaching people how to get healthy. I've already lost 75 pounds, so doing very well, doing a healthier lifestyle.
Yes, oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Mark used to work in Las Vegas, and he shared his testimony actually just this Sabbath at our church, and that was an incredible thing. Just as far as sharing his testimony, seeing what God has done in his life, bringing him out of darkness into this marvelous light and into the health message, into the gospel. And so it's just incredible. He preaches, he shares, he's into concepts, he has cookbooks. I mean, it's really neat. Share with our friends at home a little bit about your cookbooks.
Well, I've got a couple cookbooks, working on a couple more too, and the first one is actually Vegan Simplicity, and it's got a lot of recipes. It's just a real packed with recipes type of cookbook. And
great pictures.
So yeah, and that was the first cookbook I did, and then the second one is actually called Simply Incredible, and this one has the wow factor in it. And
this is a big book, if you see.
Yeah, 400 pages, full color. It has the stitch binding on it. You know, over 250 recipes, and it's got a lot more simplicity to it, and it teaches you concepts. If you ever see any of my cooking shows, you'll know that I teach concepts, because I want to teach people the concept, and once they have the concept, then they can go forward in a mighty way with their cooking talents.
Of course,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about, I see this recipe, okay, then I'm going to learn how to make this recipe and do this recipe. It's about what is the concept behind it, and then you can do a whole plethora of recipes.
Right, exactly.
And that's what we're doing today.
Right.
We're doing concepts regarding cheese.
Cheese. Well, see, because cheese is one of those things that a lot of people, that's their weakness. They just, oh, my weakness is cheese. And so I'm going to show you some concepts that would be very easy to do, and a fraction of the cost of some of these vegan cheeses that you get in the grocery stores and stuff. So it'll save you money, and you're eating healthier.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Let's look at those recipes that we're going to be making here today. We're starting with a vegan Parmesan cheese.
Fast, easy, simple. And you'll love it. You can use it on a lot of different things too, other than pasta. So.
And look at this Jack and Dill cheese.
Jack and Dill. I keep wanting to say Jack and Jill, but it's a Jack and Dill cheese.
With some dill in it.
I've got a couple different ones.
Slice it, you got cube, I like that.
Yes, that we can do.
And a vegan garden herb cheese spread.
Now that is a spreadable cheese, because there's different types of cheeses. You've got your hard cheeses, and each one of these is getting softer, a little more complicated along the way. But that's a really good one.
Yes, and Chef Mark's melting mozzarella. Now that one looks kind of complicated.
It's a little challenging, but once you master the art of doing it, you'll be able to run with it. And it's, yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
we're going to teach you how to do that today.
Oh, yeah. And then we're going to end with your signature cheese sauce.
Yeah, and that is a great cheese sauce that you can use for nachos and just everyday things. You can make batches of it and freeze it and pull it out when you need it.
And it's very economical.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's made with potatoes and carrots, of all things.
Did we let the secret out of the bag?
Yes. Well, we've got to get some cooking going, and so I'm going to let you get started right here with some potatoes and carrots.
Let's read our first recipe.
Okay.
We got to read that for the Parmesan cheese. Let's read that recipe for the Parmesan cheese. 1 cup almonds, 1/3 cup raw cashews, 1/2 cup nutritional yeast flakes, 1 teaspoon lemon juice, 1 teaspoon salt-free herb and garlic.
That's it.
Yeah.
That easy.
That's simple.
So, but we got to get our potatoes and carrots cooking. We have so much fun here. It's going to be a crazy, crazy show. Make sure you record this, or call your friends, because this is one of those, especially when it comes to cheese, people are going to be like, wow, didn't know I could actually do that. So we're actually making a cheese sauce out of potatoes and carrots.
That's
and
awesome.
I've got about 3 cups of potatoes and about 2 cups of carrots here. And we need to get this cooking, and then later on, when it's done cooking, we can finish that recipe.
So this is not for the Parmesan cheese?
No,
then.
this is for a whole different recipe, but we've got to get it cooking.
All right.
You'll notice a lot of times I cook what takes the longest.
Yes.
Whatever takes the longest, that's what I want to cook first. And what are we doing anyway?
Parmesan.
Parmesan. Okay, Parmesan. Well, sometimes, when you're in the kitchen, these kind of things happen. Almonds and cashews. It's so easy. And almonds and cashews. Now, you can actually get the almonds that are peeled, or you can skin them yourself by boiling them. You could boil them and then pop the skins off of them and let them dry. And so some people do that.
But in this case, you're using the skins.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the whole thing here. Nutritional yeast flakes, which really gives you a good cheesy flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is what is actually the roasted garlic and herb.
Ooh.
And there's a lot of different ones out there. So you can kind of use any, or you can just put garlic and a little seasoning in there. And then I have a little bit of lemon juice.
Nice.
So that's it.
That's very simple, Mark.
And we are going to actually give this a stir, give it a pulse, and it'll be ready in just a second. You'll actually know when it's done because it kind of starts sticking a little bit right down here. You'll kind of see it sticking together. And you can see it's almost, it's just getting smaller. You can just go and go and go, and it'll get finer and finer. You can see where it's kind of clumping together now, right here?
It is starting.
So that's all you do. And let me show you a little trick to this, because if you're going to pull these off of here, if you pop it like that, that gets all the dirt from.
That is a very good, not dirt, good stuff to eat.
Well, yeah, not dirt. The dust is what I'm talking about, the dust that comes from the food.
Of course, from the nuts and from the nutrition. Absolutely.
And then what I do with this centerpiece right here is I'm actually going to tap it right here. So that way, it all comes off too.
So it's easier to clean later, is what you're looking at.
And it's easier to pour. And then just like that, you've got your substitute Parmesan cheese. That easy.
I love that.
Now, you can use this for toppings for salads, different things like that. You can make it finer.
Awesome.
Has a long shelf life. So,
nice.
And the other thing, now, if you would have peeled those
almonds,
it would be really white.
Yeah.
But I like using the whole nut.
Oh, yeah,
so it just keep the nutrients and everything like that. But that easy to make a vegan Parmesan cheese.
That is nice. I love that. And you got some crackers over there, too, with it. Nice. I'm going to try. Can I have a cracker and try?
Well,
no.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Are you saving it for something else?
We have crackers for everything today.
Crackers for everything.
Cheese and crackers. Got to have it. But you'll see it actually tastes like Parmesan cheese. Doesn't have the melting capability like a Parmesan would.
The flavor is fabulous.
But the flavor is there.
That really pops. I like that. You want to read our next recipe for our next cheese?
Jack and Dill cheese. You'll need 2 cups of water, 3 tablespoons of agar-agar powder, 1 cup of raw cashews, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast flakes, 1 tablespoon of powdered soy milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, a quarter of a teaspoon of garlic powder, an eighth of a teaspoon of mustard powder, and 3 tablespoons of dill. And we're going to use just a fresh dill.
Oh, yeah, I love the fresh dill.
So that'll work out really good.
Now, this looked fabulous, Mark. When we saw the beauty shot at the beginning, when we started the program, I loved the way it turned out.
Yeah, people would never have imagined this. So we're going to start out. Let me get a couple cups of water here because we've got to get some water boiling. And we've already warmed this up to speed it up a little bit. And
Want
then
that on, the burner on?
Yes. And what this right here is agar-agar powder. And I'm going to let you just whip this all together. It's going to take about 2 minutes.
Okay.
So you're just going to keep stirring and stirring and stirring while this agar-agar powder gets blended.
Now, tell our friends what agar-agar powder is.
It's a seaweed, actually. It comes from seaweed. And it's a thickening agent. So we're going to thicken that for about 2 minutes. And sometimes you'll see the agar-agar flakes in the grocery store.
You can.
Now, agar-agar powder, a lot of times you won't find that in the health food stores, but if you go to the Asian food stores, you can find it there. And it's like 1/10 the price of the agar-agar flakes.
Okay.
So it's a good way to go. Now over here, I'm going to...
on high, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're just going to crank that up and keep it going.
Okay.
I'll add the ingredients that we need to make the cheese. And I'm using raw cashews,
Nice.
and these work really well for thickening and things like that. We've got some lemon juice here. We're going to use a lemon juice. This is nutritional yeast flakes, which is actually a derivative of molasses.
Ooh,
So, and it's very expensive, but you get a lot of volume.
You do.
It might be $10 a pound, but I mean, you're getting a lot of volume out of this, so it goes a long, long way. So we've got our nutritional yeast
Just
flakes.
starting to boil.
And we're going to just keep on stirring.
Keep stirring, okay.
This right here is just a powdered soy milk.
Now, what type of powdered soy milk do you like? Because not all soy milks are the same.
This was just a powdered soya, was the
Okay,
brand.
soya,
So.
okay.
And then we've got some salt, of course, a little bit of garlic and onion powder. Oh, onion powder and garlic powder. Humidity today.
There is indeed.
And then I've got some mustard here. So. And you can use a lot of different ingredients. Once again, we are showing you just the concepts. And once you get this concept down, you will run with all different types of flavors. And how's that doing?
It's looking good.
Take a look at this. You can see how it's already thickening up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it just gets thicker and thicker. And
Will it get thicker than this even?
that's about it right there.
Okay.
And stop for a second. Yeah, you can see that bubbling and you see it kind of thickening. You would never think that would happen.
I know, it's amazing. It thickened really fast.
Agar-agar powder.
Do you want me to shut it off?
Uh-huh.
All right. Are you going to use that?
And we are going to put this right into the blender. Yeah, that's looking good.
Okay.
And it takes about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it
And you'll have it about this thick. And this is an exact recipe, so you have to have the right amount of water and the right amount of agar-agar powder when you're doing different recipes.
It was 2 cups water, wasn't it? 2 cups water we did? Okay.
2 cups of water and 3 tablespoons of agar-agar powder. So we're going to add this right to the blender here,
Nice.
just like this. It's almost a science when you're doing some stuff like this. We're bringing science into the kitchen today. And then we are going to give this a blend. Now this is going to take about 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm going to get it started and then we'll go from there. And turn it on low, crank it up. Okay, let me see how this looks here real quick.
See.
Oh, you can see how it's
Nice.
already a velvety,
I love
almost
that.
looks like a Mornay sauce, doesn't it?
It's very nice.
And so here's a little trick we can do, though. I want to take some of this dill right now. Now, I didn't put this in there earlier
And why is that?
because I just didn't want to get it totally incorporated in
Okay, yeah.
there. You can do that, but, and I'm going to turn this on for just 1 second here, and we'll get that blended in. And just about like this. You can see how it's all incorporating in there. And there we go. Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Now we've got a beautiful cheese.
I love that. And that was easy, Mark.
Oh, I'm telling you.
It really was easy.
It does take a high-powered blender to do this, let me tell you.
You can't do that in your regular.
It really does take a
Vitamix
high-powered
or
blender.
something.
Yeah. And all I'm going to do is I can take this plastic container, give it a little spray, and I kind of even rub it around with my fingers here a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a coating. Doesn't take a lot. And then we're going to pour this right into the container here.
Nice.
Look how thick this is. That is really thick.
That is nice.
And then once you get it here, whew, just like that, you're going to refrigerate this.
Now, do you cover it or you leave it open?
I usually leave it open until it cools.
Okay.
And then after it cools is when I put a lid on it. Because if you put a lid on it right now, it's going to get the condensation. Right. But you can see when it's done.
I love that.
Let me grab this board here. I got to share this with you. This is what it looks like when it's done.
Wow.
Now, see, this one actually came out of that container.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
And you can see how firm it is. I mean, that is one firm cheese.
It's very firm.
And now this one, I actually added...
You did something for the jack here.
Yeah, I put in some pimentos and some turmeric.
Oh, yeah? Give it
to
the
give
yellow.
it a color, right.
Oh, yes.
And, but you can cube this, and this one right here, this one actually came out of a round container. Right.
I love that.
So, and you could even, if you wanted to, do wedges. If you wanted, hey, here's a little wedge of cheese. Would you like a little wedge of cheese? So, yeah, you can have so much fun with this. I mean, you really can.
Oh,
there
that's
you go.
great.
See?
I see that.
But that's it. That's how easy it is to do.
Oh, that's easy. That is great. Wonderful. Can I try one of these?
Yeah, absolutely. Try the dill.
The dill.
The dill. The dill jill.
Oh, that's great cheese.
Actually, most people would never know the difference. Yeah.
Flavor's wonderful. I love the dill. I like dill anyway.
And you can go into so many different flavors. You could run with this in a dozen different ways.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is great. I love that.
Long
And it's
shelf
set
life.
up. Now, do you keep it in the fridge, obviously?
Yeah, just keep it in the fridge.
And how long does it keep?
I've had it in there for weeks.
Oh, really?
Just
And
keep
it's okay?
slicing it up, yeah.
Wow, that is great. You know, this is so great because when we're trying to do a vegan alternative, you know, for the cheeses, we look at it and we say, I can't do that. It's too hard. I can't, you know, I can't make it, or it's too expensive for me to buy. So what am I going to do? And so these are great options.
A lot of the cheese recipes that I've seen are really cultured cheeses that, I mean, it takes weeks to do. And so this is one just boom, boom, you got it done. Yeah.
I love it. Let's go to our next cheese recipe. This one is the Vegan Garden Herb Cheese Spread. This is that spreadable one you talked about.
Yep. And for this one, you're going to need 2 cups of hot water, half a tablespoon of agar-agar powder, 1 cup of raw cashews, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1½ teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of ground mustard, 4 cloves of chopped garlic, 1/4 cup of fresh cut basil. I've got 1/4 cup of fresh cut cilantro, and then 1/4 cup of green chilies. And then if you want to make a cheddar spread, you would just add 1/4 cup of the red roasted peppers and 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric.
Oh, I love that with all the herbs.
Yeah, and so you can do this a number of different ways too. So we'll show you how to do just the herb one.
Oh, nice. I love that.
Same concept as the last one. We're going to take our 2 cups of water.
That you've already heated up a little bit. That helped us.
We're speeding up the process a little bit. And
do I get to stir again?
Yes, you do. But this time, I've only got 1/2 tablespoon of the agar-agar powder.
So it's not going to be as thick.
Right. So this is how you adjust how you want that cheese to be. If you want that cheese to be very hard, you would add more agar-agar. But if you want it loose, like a spreadable one, then you would add the less agar-agar.
That makes sense.
So,
absolutely. Because we did 3 tablespoons last time, didn't we?
Right. And so this is your thickening power, and we just don't want this quite as thick as the other one. So we'll let you give that a swirl, and it takes a couple minutes. And then I can just start putting the ingredients in here.
And we got cashews again as your base.
Cashews work. You can do other things, though, if you want to do different any different products, because this will thicken everything. You could put nothing in there. You could put sugar in there and make Jell-O.
Oh.
So, yeah, you can do so many things with it.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's great.
Blending. I've got the raw cashews again. Nutritional yeast flakes, which always gives it a good cheesy flavor.
It does, absolutely.
Lemon juice, which gives it that little zesty salt, of course. And then I always do my garlic and onion. For some reason, when it comes to the flavors, the garlic and onion just seems to work. And some mustard powder. Mm-hmm. And now this one, I've actually kicked it up a notch.
Ooh,
I've got some real garlic.
That's great.
We're going to make this a real herb-flavored product there. So how's that doing?
It's not even boiling yet. I don't know if you went faster there or what's going on, but yeah. It'll come in just a second.
Sometimes you have to have a little patience in the kitchen. Yes. Lord, give me patience. And give it to me right now.
There, it's starting to boil now.
Isn't that what people usually do?
That's right. There we go.
As long as it doesn't go overboard.
It's boiling. Turn it down a little bit. It's working.
It's amazing.
Now that's a lot thinner.
Is it?
I can see the difference. Now tell me, Mark, how do you come up with your recipes? Like, how do you come up with, say, I'm going to make cheeses today, and this is how I'm going to make them? I mean, how does that work?
I study a lot of what other people are doing, for sure. You know, you can look at what other people are doing. Usually I see what they do, and I'm like, no, 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 what are you doing, you know? And because a lot of them just, you know, have not been doing it for years and years like I have. And then other times, you know, I just look at the way I grew up. I mean, I grew up in the kitchens, and I grew up in the kitchens in the casinos in Vegas, and so I see different concepts. And sometimes, you know, this one, you know, just reminds me of the thickness that you can get when you're doing a lot of the food in the hospitals.
Ah, so like you're trying to puree,
when you're using
like
for patients,
to swallow.
Right, and so this way I'm just actually cranking up the thickening to get where I need to be. So yeah, it worked out pretty good. What do you think? You think it's ready?
I guess. I don't know how thick it's supposed to be, but
let's.
What do you think?
This, yeah, just like that.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it looks thinner.
It looks much thinner.
It looks a lot thinner, and you'll see right here, it's more like a water.
It is indeed. So hopefully I did it right.
You would never think that this would thicken up anything, right?
That's what I'm afraid of.
And
but it's going to thicken.
Wow. Now, once again, this is going to take about 2 minutes to blend. It's good to have a high-powered blender. And then we'll come back and actually put in the other 3 ingredients. So let's get this thing started here. I always start the blender on low and then try to get it cranking up from there. So, okay, here we go. Okay, let's see how that is.
I gotta see.
Ooh,
it's
see, it's already thickened up a little bit.
Wow, that's great.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Oh, wow, yes.
Now we're going to add these other 3 ingredients here.
Okay.
I've got some fresh cut basil and some fresh cut cilantro and
the green chili.
Green chilies.
Green chilies.
Yeah. Now with these 3 though, I'm not going to just, you know, really purify this, you know, puree it. I just want to get it so it blends and still have some chunks in there. So we're just going to kind of real
quick whiz.
Yeah, just a little bit here.
Oh, that's a very quick whiz.
Yep, just like that.
Wow.
And I actually could have done that quicker.
Did it grind it up too much?
So we're going to put this right in here.
Oh, nice, Mark.
Woo.
Doesn't that look good?
But you see, I got a lot of big chunks in there.
I do?
So that's what I'm looking for.
Nice.
And fat. Here, you got to grab that spatula, and I'm going to let you get in there and get that last little bit right there.
Got it.
There we go.
Now, when you go out on the road and you demonstrate like cooking schools, would you demonstrate like cheese recipes, and what type of stuff do you demonstrate?
Sometimes,
okay.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. In fact, we're going to do a cheese recipe here in a little bit with the potatoes and carrots. I actually do that one on the road.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so it's
nice.
So this one right here, when you look at it, it's looking a little thin, but when you refrigerate it, you can see the finished product over here, how thick it is.
I do see that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to try it.
I do indeed.
Here, let me grab a little bit of the chilled for you here. I'll sneak a piece right there for you. There
Nice.
you go. So.
Oh, this is wonderful.
It's a velvety cheese spread.
Very velvety, incredibly so.
You can do this on lots of different flavors. You can use it for breads. You can use it for sandwiches. There are so many things you could do with this right now.
I love the cilantro. I love the basil. I love the flavor. It's very smooth.
Spice it up if you
very
want
smooth.
heat in it. Just add some heat to it. And by the way, anytime, you can call 3ABN and they will send you out all the recipes that we're doing here.
That's right.
So some of these are a little more complicated, and if you didn't get a chance to write them down, you can also go to the 3ABN website, and a lot of times we have the recipes right there on the 3ABN website,
take 'em
so you
off.
can just download them from there.
Absolutely.
So the easy way.
Oh, yeah, that is the easy way.
Yeah.
But some people say, I don't have a computer, I don't have internet
Right.
connection, whatever, so it's easy. We'll just send it to
Hop
you.
on the phone.
Oh, I love that. We're going to make mozzarella next.
Yes, this is so
melting
good.
mozzarella.
That's the melting mozzarella. This one will blow you away.
We need
We're going to do 2 cups of yogurt. This is a non-dairy, plain, unsweetened yogurt. 1 cup of water, 2/3 cup of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of salt, 3/4 cup of tapioca flour, 2 tablespoons of carrageenan powder, and then for a brine, we need a 1/2 gallon of cold water and a couple teaspoons of salt.
Now, I'm excited to make this mozzarella cheese. It seems like, I have never in my life, and I've been vegan for years, but never tried to do something like this.
This is the one that
exciting.
really blows people away. Let me tell you, when they take a look at this, they're like, you've got to be kidding me. And it's all vegan, so you're going to love this.
Okay.
And, now right here, I want to get this fired up because it's going to take a little while to heat up and everything. So we're going to just crank this up right here
That's soy yogurt?
and get this baby going. We got that on full blast, good. Yeah, what this is I've got 2 cups of yogurt in here. I've got 1 cup of water, 2/3 cup of olive oil, and then a tablespoon of salt. So what we did with this is you take that mixture and you whip it together, and then it's got to set for 24 hours.
Really?
Right, so I did that
Okay.
yesterday. I just blended it all together, set it at room temperature, and what it's doing
You want
is...
the cultures.
Yeah, it's kind of creating a bacteria of cultures that kind of like regular...
Like you would do in any type of cheese.
right,
You
exactly.
want to grow that
it's the
bacteria.
same kind of concept that cheese does when they're aged. They do the culture first. So you're doing the same concept.
Wow.
And it is a non-dairy yogurt. It's plain and unsweetened. You don't want to get all those sweetened things.
Right.
I really haven't tried it with the blueberry yogurt yet. I'm really
was thinking
looking
that,
forward
or
to
strawberry
that.
or
Yeah.
raspberry.
Yeah, we might have to try that someday.
Okay.
This is going to come to a boil, and this is going to blow you away when you see this. It really is. So I got to keep stirring, but we do need to add a couple more ingredients to this.
Okay. Right now, or when
Yeah,
it boils?
we're going to start out with 3/4 cup of tapioca flour,
That would be this.
which this is the tapioca flour.
Faster or just like this?
Yeah, you're doing perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay.
So this is tapioca thickener?
It can be.
But that's not this
Yeah.
purpose. Sorry.
That works perfect.
Got it.
Let me give this a stir. And it's already, I can already feel it coming around. All right, now this is 2 tablespoons of carrageenan powder.
We've been using this.
Now, and a lot of people are hesitant about carrageenan. You might have heard a few things about that. Just for a long story short, you don't have to send me any emails on it or anything like that. There's different types of carrageenan, and the ones that are actually used in food is kind of a good carrageenan. So, but it's basically seaweed. It's just basically a seaweed product. And then I've got to add a 1/4 teaspoon of that cream of tartar. And that's what really gives it a flavor. That cream of tartar just really kind of gives it that little zesty popping.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This is going to get really challenging for me.
I'm kind of glad Mark's stirring at this point instead of Jill.
And it does take a lot of work to make this. But you're going to see this coming along very well here.
It's already changing consistency some.
It is. Look at it. You see it already getting stringy?
Oh, I can. Oh, that's incredible, Mark.
As it heats up, and you want
Oh, yes. Look at that string.
You want to get it heating up. And once it gets really hot like that, about 2 minutes later, you're good to go. And I knew I was going to get a workout at 3 a.m.
This is quite a workout. Wow.
Can you imagine, though, putting this in a sandwich or something?
That's
you can
incredible.
make grilled cheese sandwiches. You can put it in different dishes.
Now, what about the salt? Do I add this or not yet over here?
Now, that's for the brine.
Okay.
You've got some ice water there, and you're going to add that salt to the brine.
Do you want it now?
Yeah, add that in there, and then give it a little stir. Whoa.
Wow,
Look
that
at
looks cool. Wow.
Now that's getting really stringy. See how much
stringy.
it just gets stringier and stringier? And that's what you're looking for. I can hear it sizzling on the bottom.
I can.
So I'm going to shut this off. Yep.
Wow.
Isn't that
Look
something?
at that. That's incredible. That is amazing, Mark. This is soy cheese. Wow.
And not even really
Amazing.
soy cheese. I mean, it's got the soy milk in there,
Got
but
the soy milk, right, from
most
the
of
yogurt,
it's
but
the
that's-
yogurt. Yeah, the soy yogurt, exactly. And water. And
Wow.
now here's the cool part.
Okay, I'm ready.
I got my
ready.
workout now. So I got my calories. Now we're going to put these scoops in the brine.
Okay.
And we'll just take one scoop at a time like this. And
Oh, isn't that cool?
and I'll only do a
It's gonna
couple of them
form.
right here. But ouch, that's hot. Don't try this at home, kids.
Oof.
And then
got
maybe
one over
grab
there?
one of those, that clear container there, and we'll start filling that up too. Yeah, this can be a little messy,
Oh, I can see that.
and you got to work fast. You got to really
Because it's
work.
going to set real fast.
Right, it's going to thicken up really quick here.
Okay.
Okay, one more time. I'll do it one more time here.
Wow. We've never done this in a cooking show. I mean, I've been doing it for years. I don't ever remember doing this.
This is a real science.
That
This
is
is a
awesome.
science class that you're at today, okay? It's not a cooking show, it's a science class.
But it's a science class with something you can eat instead of like dissecting
Something healthy that you can eat.
Absolutely.
Okay, now check these out in the ice water. Have you ever seen buffalo mozzarella? Buffalo mozzarella is what you would see, and it is actually in a brine like this.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's already, if you'll, I'm going to pull
Can I-
this out, you
can I
can
feel
see
it?
it's already thickening up on the outside.
it
It's still hot
is.
on the inside. But look how fast it's setting, and it's not sticking to my fingers or anything.
No, I see.
And,
Yeah, it's
and
getting like a skin on the outside.
you can actually store it like this in the refrigerator. That's the way I store it in the water,
In the water.
in the salt water. And that gives it a longer shelf life.
Now, can I ask you, what's the purpose of the salt water? Pardon my ignorance.
As a
why
brine,
why don't you just use
it's
cold?
a preservative.
Okay,
So the salt water gives it a longer shelf life.
makes sense.
And you could have it in the fridge for weeks.
Could you really?
If you have it like this, it doesn't have as long as a shelf life.
Right.
But you can grab one of those right there, and one of those ones that are
These are
actually
already set
done.
up.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
that's the way they would come out of the thing, out of the brine, and just like that, boom, you got mozzarella cheese.
I love it.
Now you can do this with the agar-agar powder instead of the carrageenan if you want, but it ends up not being quite as melting. It's more of a jello-y type, where this has more of a melting. So you can actually take this, reheat it, and it's going to end up with that same melting capability, just like the cheese here.
I mean, this would be great cheese. You put it over lasagna. You could grate it, right? You could slice it. You could.
Grading's a little challenging.
Is grating okay? So scratch the grating idea.
You can grade this one better than you can grade this one.
Correct.
Because it's just, and you could actually, if you added more carrageenan or agar-agar, it would harden it up. And then you'd probably have a better grading cheese.
Okay. Okay.
So, and like I said, we're just teaching the concepts here. And once you get the concept of this, then you can really start running with it. You can add flavors, you can make it harder, you can make it softer. You know, and it's cost-wise.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this is 1/4 the cost of what you would get these cheeses at the health food stores. Yeah, 1/4, if not more. I haven't done really the math. I've done it big time in my head, but it's just going to save you a lot of money.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Tell me, Mark, I know you travel. We got to go to our next recipe, but just for a moment, you travel a lot. I mean, you've done over 1,000 cooking shows.
Yeah.
You know, that's just incredible. So you have kind of a flavor of what's going on within the church, what's going on, you know, at the different venues that you go to. So what do you see as far as healthy eating, healthy living? Are we becoming more involved in that? Is the climate changing within North America, or what do you see?
For the most part, we've got a healthy church. I mean, the Seventh-day Adventist Church is probably the healthiest church on the planet by far. In fact, there's blue zones and things like that.
There are.
You know, people that eat healthier live a longer life. They live a healthier life. They have less sickness, less disease. And for people that eat vegan, the statistical facts anywhere on the planet, the people that eat healthier, more plant-based, live the healthiest, longest life. And as far as the churches go, there's different churches, you know, East Coast, West Coast seems to be really health conscious.
Okay.
Midwest is,
Not so
you know,
much.
yeah, so.
Now, you do other types of venues too, right? Not just within the church. You do other types of venues, or is it mainly within the church?
I've done all different churches.
Okay.
We were at Texas A&M this year. We were at a couple different universities down south. I've done them in senior centers and hospitals and lots of different places like that. And you know, wherever God sends me, I'm ready to go. You know, it's like, send me, I'll go. You know, it's a little Isaiah 6:8 there. But yeah, and I'll tell you what, the one thing I do find though, is the people that are eating healthier have a better relationship with God.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing, you know, because not only do you get that animal fat and cholesterol off of all your blood cells, you get it off of all your brain cells. And when people start going vegan or plant strong, they actually end up with higher brain activity. And it ends up giving them a better relationship with God. Absolutely. Body, mind, and spirit, it is all so connected in such a mighty way. The one thing I do see out there, though, is the people that have the greatest paranoia end up really having more health problems. The ones that say, oh, I don't eat wheat because I heard this, and I don't eat corn because I heard this, and I don't eat soy because I heard this, and I don't eat, you know, tomatoes because those got excitotoxins, and I don't eat, you know, this, that, I don't eat seaweed, you know. And they're the most unhealthy people, I find, because they're not getting the variety they need. You know, and the people that get the most varieties in their diets, they're actually the healthiest.
So what you're telling us is, okay, go back to a plant-based diet, because plant-based is Genesis 2 diet, what God told us at the beginning, but then don't stress about it. Don't say, oh, now is what I'm eating this and that. Just don't stress. Just enjoy what you eat.
Well, we've got to understand that Satan is attacking people, okay? He wants to attack you by saying, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that. Satan is putting fear into people to keep them from eating the healthy foods. That's exactly. Plus, he's attacking the healthy foods as well. We know that.
It's just part of living in a world of sin. Absolutely.
But that's the thing. And right now, we are in what you call a fragmentized society. So as long as you hear stuff enough times, you actually start believing it. You know, they can put stuff out there that says, oh, don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat this, and eventually you start believing it, even though there's really no credible truth to it. And if I can share something that would help you more than anything in life, I would have to say that the better the lie is presented, the more absurd the truth is going to sound. Does that make sense? In anything in life, that, you know, that's what happens. So, you know, if you stick to the original diet, you know, you'll be a lot better off.
Amen. Absolutely. God knew what he was doing at the beginning. You know, when he said, okay, this is what I want you to eat. And it makes you feel better. It improves that mind-body connection, all of that stuff. So that's great. This cheese is fabulous. I love that, Mark.
Yes, you'll love it.
That is really neat. Okay, we'll go to our last recipe. We're going to make the Mark Anthony signature cheese sauce, which is the potato and carrots we've been cooking here. So we need 3 cups diced potatoes, 2 cups diced carrots, 1/2 cup nutritional yeast flakes, 1/2 cup reserved veggie water, 1/4 cup olive oil, 2 tablespoons Butler's chicken style seasoning, 1 tablespoon garlic, 1 tablespoon onion powder, 1 teaspoon sea salt, and the juice of 1/2 of a lemon, which is optional. So tell me, Mark, why do you call this Mark Anthony's signature cheese sauce? Why
I've spent a lot of time on this one. I really have.
A lot of time creating, or you make it a lot?
Yeah, and making it both. But This is another one of those recipes that came from the hospital days when you had to blend things into making them edible and that type of thing. Have seen a couple other recipes around with the same concepts, but not quite exactly the same as I make it.
Oh, absolutely, and we don't do it a lot. You know,
Yeah.
I know on the set we don't do this type of cheese with the potatoes and carrots, and it's so economical and it's delicious.
A lot of people are doing these cashew cheeses and things like that, but let me tell you, those cashew cheeses are very expensive, plus they're high in fat. It's just way too high of a fat content to eat it on a regular basis.
Right.
So this one saves you money and you're eating healthier.
Oh, absolutely. So the other cheeses that we made before, a lot of them were cashew based. We could say for those that would be specialty. That would be like a special treat. You would bring them out. And this would be your standard staple.
Right. You could eat this every day.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Okay.
We've got that done.
We started them boiling at the beginning of the program.
Right. And that was the 3 cups of potatoes to 2 cups of carrots. One thing you have to remember, now my recipes are very forgiving. I mean, you don't have to be exact on my recipes. You can actually throw things together and you don't have to be exact and they still turn out great. But this one, you just have to make sure that you got more potatoes than carrots because your potatoes have the starch, which is your thickening agent for the sauce.
Yes,
so you got to make sure you have more potatoes than carrots.
Okay.
So we're going to just scoop those out and put them right inside the blender here. And we'll have to get them all in there. And they look good. By the way, what I did on these is I peeled these potatoes and carrots because that's going to give us a real velvety look to it. But when I do the cooking shows, I don't peel the potatoes and the carrots.
Oh, really?
Right, and but just for our camera shots, we're taking some pictures and stuff, so I wanted to make them look pretty. But at home, you don't even need to peel the potatoes and the carrots because you got nutrients in the skins, and so you want to keep those nutrients in there. And you'll just have these little specks. You'll have these little itty-bitty specks all over your cheese sauce, but flavor-wise, you'd never know the difference. Okay, so right there, let me grab this here, and I'm going to just add some of this potato juice to it. And you can measure it out, but I just know to go about halfway up on it.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit over, aren't I? So let me just drop a little bit out of there. What do you think? Right about there?
Yeah, that looks like half.
That's pretty good. Okay. And then we're going to take this to the blender here and add some ingredients. And you'll be thrilled how simple these ingredients are. Nutritional yeast flakes.
Yes.
Almost any time you're doing cheese sauces, those work.
You need that.
Olive oil. You don't even need to use the olive oil. You can actually make this without olive oil for people that are going low fat. The olive oil gives it a real glistening effect, so that's why I like to do it because people want the visual, and it gives a little more smoother palate. So, but we've done it without quite a few times. This right here is just Butler makes. In fact, I'll show this to you real quick. Chicken-style seasoning.
Nice.
You'll find a lot of different chicken-style seasonings. There's
There's McKay's.
McKay's chicken-style seasoning. There's another one that's called Better Than Bouillon. I think you've noticed I use that quite a bit.
Yep.
Any one of them will work.
Okay.
And here we've got some garlic and onion, of course. So we'll put the garlic and onion in here. And some salt. Yeah, and you don't need a lot of salt either. You can actually do it with no salt if you wanted.
The chicken has some salt in it. Wouldn't the chicken have salt in it?
This one's actually a little bit lower sodium than most of them, though. It's only 13%, where a lot of them are up to 30%.
That's nice, absolutely. Now, did you salt your potatoes and carrots when you cooked them?
No,
you did
just
not.
did it in hot water. Boiling, well, we boiled it for a little while there, but
we did while we were.
So all we got to do is give this a blend, and it's going to take about 1 minute.
And while it blends, we're going to go to Mark's address roll. He has 2 cookbooks, which we talked about at the beginning, Vegan Simplicity and Simply Incredible. I have both of them in my kitchen at home, and I love them. Mark does such a great job of presenting the food and making it taste good and showing you how you can do it yourself. Also, if you would like to contact Mark for one of these cookbooks, or if you'd like him to come to your area, to your church, to your community center, to your school, whatever, and put on a cooking school or present the gospel message, here is how you can do just that. As we blend, we're going to go to the address.
So I can blend?
You can blend.
All right, it takes about 1 minute, so.
If you would like to receive one of Mark's books, or if you'd like to contact Mark to invite him to your church, you may do so by writing to Mark Anthony, Post Office Box 6103, South Bend, Indiana 46660. That's Mark Anthony, Post Office Box 6103, South Bend, Indiana 46660. You can call 702-236-3280. That's 702-236-3280. You can also visit his website for cookbooks and cooking supplies at chefmarkanthony.com. That's chefmarkanthony.com. Call or write today. He'd love to hear from you.
Okay. Woo, we're done with that.
Just finished blending there.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks good.
Look at this.
Nice. Nice.
Love that. It's actually just a melting cheese there.
It is indeed.
And here, I'm going to put some in a bowl here. And
got it.
You'll see it's kind of pourable. And
now would it thicken?
Velvety. No.
No, it doesn't.
This will pretty much stay. If it evaporates a little bit, you can make it thinner or thicker too, based on what you're using for the water and thickness and things like that. But help yourself. You can try it.
I'm going to try it.
One of the nice parts about this, you can freeze it, put it in the freezer, just pull it out in portions.
And it doesn't change texture at all?
Comes out perfect.
Now, I have never tried to freeze it, so that's brand new.
Make big batches, freeze it, in portion sizes that you can use, and then pull it out as you can bit by bit.
That's really good. I love that, Mark.
I was at my sister's for the holidays.
That's better than mine.
I was at my sister's for the holidays, and we made this. But and brothers and sisters are there, and nephews. Did not tell any of them it was vegan, and they tried it. And nobody knew the difference.
Really?
For nachos, things like that. Now, once again, I want to teach concepts. Okay.
Right.
Once you have this down to a science, we're going to show you a couple different things you can do with this, because you could actually take this and add salsa. You could add green chilies. You can make queso dips with it, things like that. Another thing you can do is, let's say you've got a potato soup. Add this to it, boom, you got potato cheese. Broccoli soup, you add this to it.
Like a broccoli cheese.
That fast, you got broccoli cheese. So there's a number of different things you can do as well. Macaroni and cheese.
I was thinking that.
Now, if you're going to do cooked things like macaroni and cheese, you can take cooked macaroni, mix this with it, and it's ready to eat. But if you're going to bake it off in the oven, you've got to make sure your macaroni is fully cooked, and you want to cook it in a thinner pan faster. Because that way it's going to keep the macaroni and the breadcrumbs from sucking all the moisture out of this cheese.
It would be too dry then.
Right, so it's got a couple little concepts, little tweaks you have to do if you're going to bake with it. But for every other concept, let me tell you, this thing is a gold mine for anybody who eats cheese. And just like all the cheeses we're doing here, this is one of those things that people will love to serve.
And this one's super inexpensive. That's what I like about it. And it's economical. And
healthy.
It's healthy. That's the word.
Do you remember those steam pots that we did?
We did
a steam pot.
Yes.
Okay, we did a steam pot here, and it had all these vegetables in it. I mean, it had broccoli and carrots and what else do we have? Potatoes and all those things in it. My wife and I, we will do those steam pots, and then we pour this cheese sauce all over the top of just steamed vegetables with cheese.
Idea. Oh, yeah.
And it is so much energy. It just gives you pure energy throughout the day. Yeah.
I love that.
So, yeah.
I was thinking, you said my wife and I, we haven't talked about Brenda at all on this program, but Brenda is an integral part of Mark's ministry. It's Brenda and Mark's ministry together, and it's just an incredible story how God brought them together, you know, in ministry and service for Him. So we love Brenda too. She's just precious.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, we pray so.
Amen. Yeah, she's wonderful.
She is indeed, and she's a wonderful addition to the ministry. I mean, that's just neat how God handpicks people and puts them together.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. We've had a good time. Wonderful. And I hope that you will take advantage of Mark's contact information. If for some reason you weren't able to get it all down, you always contact us. And just say, hey, I want to get a hold of Mark, and then we can always give you that as well, because just they have an incredible ministry, and we just want you to take advantage of that, yeah, in the best possible way. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go now to the news break, and we always have news and information that we want to share with you at home, and when we come back, we'll have a few minutes on the other side.
Show everything.
And we want to show everything and have a few closing thoughts. Welcome back, friends. We're here with our fabulous spread of cheeses.
Cheese, please. Yeah, when people take a picture, you know, because a lot of times they're doing camera shots, instead of saying cheese, you say soy cheese.
That's right. It was wonderful, and I learned so much. I mean, some of these are concepts I was familiar with, and some of them are brand new. So this has been an exciting program. Let's look at what we made here today. This is our nacho cheese, our signature.
It is a great cheese for so many different things. You can use it for soups and sauces and things like that.
And then we have the Jack and Jill cheese.
Jack and Jill cheeses. Now you can do a lot of different things with that. You can do a lot of different flavors, a lot of different colors. There's so many different things you can do to get those flavors out of that.
I love that. The mozzarella.
The mozzarella.
That was incredible to watch that.
Isn't that something? And that looks just like the buffalo mozzarella there. And you can use it as slicing for pizzas and so many different things.
And we have the spreadable cheese.
The spreadable cheese here. This is another one that you can do a lot of different ways. You can add different flavors, different spices. You know, so everything we did here today. And
You didn't make this.
yeah, I kind of snuck this one in on you today.
Oh, now you know I need some sort of dessert.
Right, and well, this is a way that you can substitute cheese. I just made a pizza out of watermelon, and then I used the coconut for the cheese topping, so it makes it appear to be a cheese, even though it's just coconut flakes.
It is very cute. You got strawberries and kiwi and blueberries sliced on top.
Yep,
and then
I've got them sliced in half and all designed to, you know,
that
you can
is
just sit there and
nice.
have a piece of pie.
Pizza.
A pizza pie.
A pizza pie that's made out of watermelon. That is great. So, Mark, tell us in our last couple minutes here, you go around and you share how to get healthy. What would be some steps, if you would share with our friends at home, steps that they can do, simple steps to work to get healthy?
Well, starting-wise, the best thing you can do is go all vegan. I mean, you know, the number one problem that we have in our system today is the cholesterol. So you want to eliminate the animal products, eliminate the animal fat. That's what helps get the right amount of oxygen in your blood and everything. And I'm telling you, it takes a little while for your taste buds to change, but that's one of the best things you can do is get off the animal products.
Go plant-based.
Right. 2, 3, and 4, steps 2, 3, and 4, you're going to want to reduce your sugar, oil, and salt. And then rounding out the top 5, I would say you want to try to eliminate the chemicals and the pesticides and those types of things. But yeah, the best thing you can do is eliminate the animal products first. That's 90% of your problems. And so you take care of that, everything else seems to fall in place. The other thing I do is I will have my biggest meal for breakfast, a smaller lunch, and a smaller dinner. And when you have that biggest meal for breakfast, you're going to have more energy throughout the day.
And that's opposite the American diet.
Right.
You know, the American diet, we would say, okay, skip breakfast, you know, just have coffee and donuts, or skip entirely. And then we say, we have a light lunch, and then by dinner time, we're starving, and then we eat a lot. So,
and,
yeah, that
and
would
just
be
look
opposite.
at the numbers. Breakfast is the least expensive meal of the day. So, you know, and lunch is more expensive, and dinner's like way more expensive. So if you have your biggest meal during the least expensive items to consume, it's going to save you a ton of money. And when you have more energy throughout the day, here's the other big plus about having your biggest meal for breakfast, is when you have more energy throughout the day, you're going to be more active. I mean, I'm more active now than I was back in my 20s.
Are you
and I'm
kidding?
pushing 50 this year. Don't tell anybody, but I'm pushing 50 this year.
And Mark doesn't have any energy, can't you tell? That's right.
But when you have more energy, you're going to maintain better muscle tone, you're going to maintain better muscle structure, so you're going to live a longer, more vibrant life into your older years. So that's a win-win-win. And one of the best things I tell people when I go around the country doing these cooking shows is I tell them to design their kitchen so it's user-friendly. We did a couple shows here, and you can get them from 3ABN, that show you how to design your refrigerator, just like a salad bar, how to have your oatmeal stations and things like that. So you can design your kitchens so that way when you come into your kitchen, you have all these fun, healthy foods that, you know, and so that's a big plus, is to get your kitchen designed the way it needs to be.
Thank you for coming, Mark. Thank you for
Oh, my
sharing
pleasure.
your gifts with our friends at home. It was a blessing, and I learned a lot of good things. So at home, if you're saying, I don't think I can do this, well, try one day. Go plant-based. Try these steps.
Keep
Switch
taking
out.
steps.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Every day, try a new step and keep moving forward. God bless you and keep you. Our time has gone. It always goes so quickly, especially when we have a good time in the kitchen. Know that we love you, that we pray for you at home, and we will see you next time. God bless you and keep you.